minutes count? How's your minutes count?
Yes, 8 seconds.
Napoleonic infantry assault tactics dictate that if you mass enough men, march them directly toward a point in the enemy line, that by sheer numbers and power, you can overwhelm the enemy. But he studied tactics that involved smoothbore guns, like the one that just fired on the far left. Guns that do not have rifling in the early 1800s, the Napoleonic era. Guns that are accurate at only about a mile. But this isn't Europe and this isn't the Napoleonic era. This is America in 1863. Now we have the black rifle cannons that can fire accurately at about a mile and a half. Pickett's charge will prove that the old, outmoded massed infantry assault tactics have now been outmoded by the new technology of our black rifle cannon. The bombardment prior to Pickett's charge would last for approximately 2 hours. It made the ground shake like an earthquake, and reportedly could be heard as far away as Philadelphia. I think there's little doubt that it could be heard in Harrisburg, the state capital, 35 miles to the north, or in Baltimore, 50 miles to the southeast. As the bombardment began, many of the Union infantry hunkered down onto the ground, taking a pounding. The overall Union artillery commander, Henry Hunt, rode along his lines, encouraging his men to slacken their fire and conserve the ammunition for the appearance of the infantry. But when we got to the center, the target area on Cemetery Ridge, the infantry commander there, Winfield Scott Hancock, who had authority over the guns in his own sector, insisted his guns keep firing in order to maintain the morale of his own men, to make them feel that they were giving something back.
A little bit of the air blast off them.
As the mounted General Hancock rode among his reclining infantry during the bombardment, an orderly ran up, grabbed the halter of his horse, and said, "General, you must get down. We cannot afford to lose you." And Hancock peered down at the orderly and answered, "There are times when the life of a corps commander does not count." After 2 hours of bombardment, approximately 3 p.m., as the fire slackens and the smoke drifts off the field, the Confederate infantry is forming in the trees behind their guns. One Confederate brigadier approached General Wright of Georgia, who had been on Cemetery Ridge the day before. He captured Union guns, but failing to have support on his left, was compelled to withdraw and give up the guns he captured. The general about to participate in Pickett's charge asked General Wright, "How difficult, General, is it to get up there to Cemetery Ridge, the Union position?" And Wright answered, "The difficulty is not getting up there, sir, but holding the position once you do get up there." As the Confederates sat in the woods and looked across the fields at the Union position, they calculated their chances of survival. Confederate officers tried to encourage their men by pointing over the opposite ridge and saying, "Boys, home is just over that ridge." Meaning, if you can crack the Union line on Cemetery Ridge, we can not only win the battle, but perhaps the war, and we can all go home. New York Times correspondent Samuel Wilkinson reported that during the bombardment, shots were being fired at the rate of 6 shots per minute.
For 2 hours. Sorry.
Pickett's division of Confederates was the last Confederate foot soldiers to arrive on the battlefield. They had not taken part in the first 2 days. They were the only part of Lee's army that hadn't participated. Pickett has about 6,000 men and 3 brigades. There are additional men to his left from the states of North Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Virginia. The 3 brigadiers that commanded Pickett's men that we will see today: James Kemper, Richard Garnett, and Lewis Armistead. Our brigade is roughly 1,500 men each. All the men in Pickett's division, all of them, are Virginians.
the squirrel, sit back again.
A Confederate President Picketts charge said this about Louis Armistead. If I should ever live for 100 years, I shall never forget that moment where the command is given by General Louis A. Armistead on that day. He was an old Army officer and was possessed of a loud voice which could be heard by the whole brigade, being near my regiment. He gave the command in words as follows. Attention, 2nd Battalion. Battalion of direction, forward, guide center, march. Private Randolph Shotwell, the 8th Virginia Infantry, who participated in the attack, said the flags flutter and snap, sunlight flashes from the officers' swords, low words of command are heard, and thus in perfect order, this gallant array of gallant men marches straight down into the Valley of Death. Kemper's brigade is coming up on the right. Richard Garnett's brigade would be to his left. Armistead would bring up the rear. When the Confederates reached the Gettysburg Road, about 2/3 toward the Union line, there were 2 5.5-foot tall wooden fences that they had to climb. Climb over the fence, take shelter in the sunken roof, and deliver a volley.
I can't see it. Union soldiers along the stone wall on Cemetery Ridge had begun to gather discarded rifles, loaded them, piled them up next to them, so they could fire several shots in succession. Picketts charge were not volunteers from any state. They were professional soldiers, U.S. regulars, 4th U.S. Battery, commanded by Lieutenant Alonzo Cushing, originally from Ohio but hailing out of Wisconsin. Cushing would be wounded twice early on, once in the groin, once in the shoulder. At the height of the Confederate threat, the wounded Cushing saw the Confederates approaching, ran up to a gun, pulled the lever, and took a fatal bullet in the mouth. It took 141 years,
Flagman just died.
but in November of 2014, Alonzo Cushing was posthumously promoted or awarded the Medal of Honor. Confederate General Lewis Armistead, to inspire his men to go farther than to shelter the road, to place his hat on his sword and hold it above his head for all to see. Who will follow me? It is his men that will break the Union line at the wall and force the Union soldiers back. Lewis Armistead's uncle is George Armistead. George Armistead commanded U.S. forces at Fort McHenry in 1812, 51 years before. Armistead crosses the wall, places his hand on a cannon, said, "I claim this gun," and was then mortally wounded. He died 2 days later. Only a very few Confederates would actually get inside the Union lines. When they turned to look to the rear for support to help them exploit their breakthrough, all they saw behind them were the bodies of their colleagues. The Union soldiers are chanting, "Fredericksburg, Fredericksburg." They have now avenged a similar defeat in an attack 6 months before. Okay, let's give them a big round of applause.